G'day everybody, it's Rabid and we're going to do another tutorial relating to AGF, or Access Game Factory's AGFPRO V3, which would also read as Access Game Factory's Access Game Factory Professional version 3. Yeah, isn't that a bit of a mouthful? I thought it would be Heavy Waters Access Game Factory, but yeah, let's forget about that. Today I'm going to talk about the opposite of what we did last time, which was we exported assets from Unity into AGF. Today we are going to export assets from AGF to Unity, and it's a pretty straightforward process. Again, you must have the premium DLC. So we'll load up the world builder here just so we can have a look at the scene that we're going to export for before and after comparison. As you can see here, AGFPRO Premium Edition, that is what you want. But enough of me rambling on, let's load this project. Let's load our scene in the project. We're going to go with this one because it has all these assets. I do have other ones with terrains, but for the sake of this one, I want to show you how to get assets as well as terrain out. This level will be flat. So open it up. It'll take a second or two. And here we go. Now, as you can see, I've already put in a lot of assets from the AGF pack. Something I just want to point out here is when I click this, if you notice, it's a solid object. Pay attention to that because that will be relevant later. The same as these stairs here, we'll do that also. If you click on those, you'll see those are also a single item. Again, once we've done this scene import, you know. So yeah, do your terrain, do your level. Once you're ready to export it to Unity, I'm doing in this case like these scaffolds and things here. As you can see, they've got sort of default textures on them with these yellow, black crash test dummy sort of things on them. I don't want them there, so I'm going to export them out so I can retexture them outside of AGF and then re-import them in later, or just use them in Unity. We'll see. Okay, so once you've got your scene and everything ready to go, save it, and then we will exit out of AGF. Be sure to close that because you don't want to have that and Unity going at the same time because it's just going to waste resources. I'm going to keep the launchpad here open. So we'll go to Unity. Yeah, you can see it's 26 degrees because we're in summer, even though it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Nice and warm here. Okay, ignore all those projects. We're going to create a new one because I've already done a couple of exports. So let's give it another try. So we'll go AGF. AGF. Let's turn off caps lock. AGF asset. And scene export. Call your project anything that's relevant to you, and click create project. We'll just wait for Unity to load up and do its thing. Okay, here we are in a completely new scene. Now I'm going to grab this light here. Something to remember: once we import this scene, it will also have Unity's own light in here, so you can feel free to delete that one. I'm just going to leave it here for now. Just going to get it up and out of the way of the terrain, same as this camera here. Going to also put it up out of the way. But as we can see, completely clean project as we did last time. Now, it's quite simple. All we have to do is, as with the previous video, go to Assets, go down to Import Package, Custom Package, navigate our way to the Access Game Factory folder. Again, need Premium DLC, cannot stress that enough. If you do not have the Premium DLC, you will not have these. And we want the AGF Scene Loader, AGF Scene Loader.Unity package, and we can just double click that to open it, or if you want, click it once and then click the open. We'll get the Import Assets window come up like so, and click Import, let it just do its thing. This will take about a minute. I'll use a bit of editing here to make things a bit quicker. Okay, and we're done. Now, you'll see all these messages come up here, the error messages. Just ignore those, hit clear here. You'll be able to see things like this README PDF. I'm going to have a look at that. And you'll see other documents around, like this one from Mac McDonald, the original developer. Don't know if he still works on it or owns the company, but yeah. This README file hasn't been updated from 2014. That just tells you not to load up the Access, the Unity packager that we did in the same video. Don't load that up with this scene loader. So do them in separate scenes or projects. Okay. But as you can also see, it says, Unity 4.5. We're up to 2017 up here. So don't worry about that. It does work, as you're about to see. Okay, so now we've also got these 3 folders here. And hierarchy is still the same as it was before we did this. And now we're going to actually import the scene. Now, because we've got this scene loader here, under Window, we go here, and we now have the AGF scene loader. So we click that, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. First of all, we start with this top button here. We'll click that. That's where we have to tell this where our Access Game Factory is. By default, it'll go to the usual default Steam install, which I don't have because I have custom setup. So we'll go select directory, navigate our way to the Access Game Factory, click select folder. You'll see now it's in my D drive and where I've got Access Game Factory installed. And we've just got to click the back button now. Next, we want to click this import everything from target AGF scene. Instantiate prefab, I think I pronounced that correctly. Click that. Got a tick box, all good to go. You'll see a little sunlight sort of icon there now. Then we have to go step 2, ensure the main camera is properly configured. So we click this little circle here to the right of this box. Open this window, double click the main camera, and now we see main camera. Now we click configure camera prefab. Another checkbox. That's highlighted blue, so that's all good to go. And now we get to the actual load scene. Now, depending on how big the scene is that you're going to load and the amount of assets you've got in it will determine how long it takes. This will take about 2 to 3 minutes on my system. So to give you a comparison again, as I've stated in other videos, i5 3570K, 32 gig of DDR3 and a GTX 970. Not that I think the GPU has any bearing on this, but obviously, if you have more assets than I'm loading in and a weaker computer, it's going to take longer. So I'll click this Load AGF Scene button. Go to our Projects folder. Find our project. Open it up. Find the Scene folder in there. Open that up. And then here's our scene that we want to load, the new Scene 3. So we'll double click that. Give it a second. And this window will come up here and it'll just basically go over what I said, that this scene may take a long time to process. Are you sure you wish to do this? So yeah, now's the time to think, I want to go make a coffee or to find something else to do for a couple of minutes. But again, if you're importing like one single model, this will be very, very quick. But considering the amount I've got, it's going to take a while. I've turned off my antivirus because I'm not online per se. And it actually shaved a minute off my loading time from about 3 to 2 minutes. So have a look at the time here. It's 1:08. When I click this, when we come back and it's done, it'll give you an idea of the time. So it's probably going to go on 1:09. So we'll click load and I will jump cut and come back. Here we go. I just quickly jump back in here. If you see in the background, some of these models are highlighted pink. Do not worry about that. That just means the textures for those models have not loaded yet. Once we're done, the textures will appear fine, as you'll see. Okay, we'll come back when we're done again. Talk to you soon. Okay, and we're done. And as you can see, it's now 1:11. It was like 10 seconds to 1:09 when I started. So it's taken about 2 minutes to import all these assets. And as you can see in the background here, all those models have loaded in correctly now. So it'll bring us back to this window. Just close that. And you can see all the assets are in, including my floating tree up the back there. Okay, so if you want to test it out, just grab this first person prefab. It'll load actually 2, because as we can see, it loads up some of the standard assets. So we can go third person, but yeah, just for the sake of this, we'll drag a first person controller in there. Make sure we get it out of the ground. And we will load the scene up. And just check, put it into play mode, test mode. And here we go. And you can see I can step up, down, up, down, up, down as I walk across those platforms. Can't walk into those, but I can jump off over them and into them, so colliders and everything are working correctly. Mostly. I mean, I will just show you this over here to be aware of. Like these steps here. If I walk up it, you'll see I stopped because I'm getting caught on that first step. I can step up on the first one, but I can't step up on the second one. I actually have to jump up. Same with this set of steps here. You can fix those by modifying the colliders. I'll show you quickly about that. I mean, now remember I said at the start of the video when we were still in AGF about how when I clicked items, it selected them all, like this one here. See, it selected it all. Steps next to it though, it's only selecting the parts. It's like it's a hot, yeah, for some reason it's not a complete single model, so you may have to look at things like that, but the majority of them will come out just fine like these. But this can actually be a handy thing, because if you look at these rooms where I clicked those before, if you see over here, this one in particular, let's close in on that, and if we select it, we can now select individual parts on that room, where in AGF it was a single room. So that means you essentially have now massively increased the amount of assets you've got, so you can pull all these apart and use them in prefab builders or whatever and rearrange them and make new structures or rooms. So that's a handy little thing to know, I believe. Oh, that's what I feel anyway. So yeah, something to keep in mind. I'll just quickly cover the assets, sorry, not the assets, the colliders. If we select these steps here, if you look over here on the mesh collider on the right, we have the convex box. If you check that, it will generate a collider based on the shape of the extremities of the model. So you've got the gaps there because it's going along the outer edges, the most extreme ones. So if I loaded up the playtest at the moment, I would actually be able to walk up these steps now, unlike where they were before. I'll just probably, well, let's load it up quickly. I want to keep this video brief, and we shall go have a look-see over this way, I believe it was. Okay, so now if you see these steps, if I walk up, I can't walk up that bottom step like I did before because there's a flat edge where that square is to that square. So if you put a floor down there, this will fix this problem, because if you see, if I get past that first sort of hurdle, I can now walk up and down the stairs without dramas, without hitting them. So you might want to experiment with colliders once you have assets exported to get the things like that working. One way to do it might be to attach a primitive collider to it and shape it like a ramp, for example. The other thing you might want to do is, this is the model for scale, and honestly it's a little bit short compared to your player model. It's more like child size, so you might want to sort of rescale that and re-import it into AGF2 if you want a bit of a more accurate scale model to go with. I mean, if I was in the first person player, my gun would be lined up with its head. So it's about teenage size. Anyway, let's get back out of here. Okay, so yeah, that's how simple it is to get your assets from AGF into Unity. As we can see, the dark area here is the where the boundary of the level is. If you see the dark edge, that's the boundary of the level, and then the lighter colour is outside of that. That's in AGF, that's where the yellow and black line would be. But everything is working fine. Now you might have to do a bit of messing around, because there are things like, say, these sci-fi units, they have doors here like that, and yeah, if you, after a straight asset import, you will not be able to open up those doors like you do in AGF. So I'm guessing a little bit of coding magic will be needed to be done there. Okay, as you see, it's got water under the terrain because, yeah, even though there is no water, there's water under the terrain in AGF, so you'll see that. One final little tip though is the folder for the assets now will be here, named after the scene. You can drag that up to the assets folder, and thankfully, because AGF restructures everything automatically, Unity restructures everything automatically, you can put it there now, and I could actually delete these, delete everything, and leave that folder there. And that should stay, the assets should stay there for me to use. You'll see, you know, you've got your meshes and your materials, textures, for example. But yeah, I can get rid of the scene, everything now, and use those in a new scene in Unity, or edit them and repackage them. But you can basically sort of like make a folder and say, you know, just put the cargo containers in a scene, export it, and then bam, you've got a folder with just cargo containers. So that might help managing your assets become a bit easier. If we look under here in the hierarchy, there's a scene, we double click that, it'll zoom out, and you can see the actual play area, and that will highlight all the assets in the scene, or just the different terrain things, this person, like graphics, whatever that is. But yeah, there's more stuff here. That's like a terrain extension, but you can delete all that and leave the asset folder behind if you wish. Anyway, that's how you get your assets from AGF into Unity. I hope this has helped you out some. If you're having any troubles with Unity or AGF, leave a comment below. If I'm able to help you, I will. Feel free to ask questions. anything you wish to discuss, maybe future content for videos, and I'll consider it. I will do some more tutorials in future as I learn more tips and tricks with this software, as well as the review I mentioned in the last episode. I'll probably do the review next before I do any more tutorials about my thoughts and opinions on AGF. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe and all that guff again. Or don't. I don't care either way. I do this for my own entertainment and to just be helpful to other people. But yeah, all the likes and subscribes, it gets you more noticed and it gets me more views, which encourages me to make more videos. Okay? Alright. Well, this is Rabid with another tutorial. You have a good day, night, whatever it is in your part of the world, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye. Rabid out.